Welcome back. Now, want to feel old? Get this, it's 19 years since we first heard Rathangan's most famous resident.
From winning Big Brother twice to hosting the show to returning home with a husband in tow, he's enjoyed chart-topping success with his podcast, Death Becomes Him.
This week, he's getting us into the holiday spirit with his brand new festive-themed podcast, Brian's Big Camp Christmas Chats. And he joins us in the flesh this morning. Brian Dowling, Gurunlian, you're very welcome.
Well done on pronouncing my surname correct.
A very easy name to pronounce.
We've been married 5.5 years and I still cannot pronounce it.
You can't say it.
Gurunlian?
Gurunlian.
We have Arthur in the wings here,
Yeah, he's
frowning
over
at you.
Once I can still cast your checks, I don't mind.
Is home here in Ireland now?
Home is here now, yes.
Yes, OK.
I left Ireland in 1998.
Because you were kind of betwixt and between for a while, weren't you?
London for, God, so long. And then we moved to America. I was there for a year. Arthur was there for 2 years. And then after Dancing with the Stars, we decided this is it during COVID. And yeah, Arthur shipped everything back. I just sat here going, what's going on? Where's my wardrobe? Yeah, he'd done it all.
Was this a decision prior to COVID?
No.
Or had you always planned? Or
Our visas allow us to live in America till next year, at the end of next year. And then I was on Dancing with the Stars and he was in America by himself when the whole COVID thing happened. His family were in the south of France. I was in Ireland and we actually decided in the middle, actually, do you know what? Let's just move now. And I'm kind of glad that we did. Look how 2020's gone. It's been quite scary.
Ah, there he is. Look,
yes.
We have Arthur on the show now. It's all about Arthur, Brian.
We're
going to shift the focus.
How was it for Arthur moving here? Obviously, he'd been here loads of times before visiting, but to move country like that.
See, Arthur's a creative director, choreographer, so for him, it's a bit like, well, his industry is completely closed down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's been tough for him. But
Very
look,
tough.
Everything's a blessing. We're at home, we're with my family, our friends. It's almost like a new beginning again, which sounds really weird at 42 to say it's another beginning. But I think this is the last beginning. That's the hope.
This is the future.
Yes.
Yes,
and
it feels right.
Yes.
Tell us about the podcast. We'll get to the Christmas bit in a moment.
Yes.
But the reason for the podcast and the motivation, I suppose, was very sadly the grief that you have experienced and no doubt continue to experience over the death of your mum.
Yes,
Rosie.
Death Becomes Him was an idea I had with Donal, our friend Donal and Arthur in Donal's Shkeen's kitchen in Los Angeles about grief and death and loss and how people don't really talk about it. And it took me a year and a half to have the courage to go into a studio and record the first episode, which was with Arthur, because I was feeling very vulnerable and I almost felt embarrassed if I got upset. I felt embarrassed talking about grief. Everyone feels like that. It's such a taboo subject. And I wanted to do something. And thankfully, after 2 seasons and hopefully a 3rd season next year, people actually now feel comfortable talking about loss and grief on a public platform. And I think it's so relatable because we all go through it, sadly.
What I find really interesting about your podcast, and certainly in particular recently, because your mum Rosie celebrated a heavenly birthday not so long ago.
Yeah.
You put up
December
a lovely
10th.
post. December, so it was only last week. You put up a post and you had all of your sisters in it as well.
Yeah.
And really fascinating to hear how everybody grieves in a different way from the same family
Totally.
or the same person.
Yeah,
And
totally.
there is no right or wrong way to grieve.
Yeah, like I'm the eldest of 7, so I've got 6 sisters behind me, and I kind of thought, well, this is my path. And I learned very quickly after losing mom, maybe 3 years in February, that my sisters are grieving very, very differently. And what's really good is when someone's having a really bad moment, you have all those people behind you to help you. And to go. Even at the funeral, it was very good that we'd almost sub each other in and out. So if I was having a moment, I'd leave and someone else would take over. And that's the really good thing about having a big family.
And you're lucky to have that family because, as you say, when one is down, the other is feeling stronger to pick you up and vice versa.
And I think I'm the person I am today because of my 6 sisters, my nieces, my nephews, my mom and my dad. It was so weird because when my mom was turning 64, I had trouble saying, I said, oh, my mom would have been 64. Well, no, my mom is 64. She's just not here with us. And I want my mom to age as I age. I don't want my mom to stay 61 years of age. I want her to age with me. But I think it's about using the correct words that you're comfortable with. And for me, I want my mom to age as I do. So then I kind of think she's with me. And that may sound weird to a lot of people, but it gives me great comfort knowing she's 64, she's 65, she's 66. And I believe in celebrating her birthdays, her anniversary, smelling her perfume. Her wardrobe is still untouched. And we find great comfort in that.
That'll resonate with so many of our viewers this morning. And in fact, you've also received feedback from the people who've been on your podcast to say it has been such a lovely platform and reason and excuse, not that they need it, to talk about their love.
Yeah, I never thought from a little idea in a kitchen that it would. I think we've had, I want to get this right, we've launched in March. I think we've had 18 episodes, nearly 900,000 downloads and plays.
Really?
Incredible.
Yeah, because I thought it would just help me. And those 7 people on the first season, 7 is me and Arthur's favourite number, I was in people's DMs going, do you mind doing me a favour? And for it to grow into something now that it's become, it's been really amazing. And I actually think that I used those people. It makes me feel better as well. So it's kind of been a win-win for both people.
In Ireland, we're very good at the funeral, aren't we? And maybe not so now because we're in the middle of a pandemic and everything has changed. But generally, we celebrate people's lives very well, don't we?
Yeah.
But when it comes to actually just breaking down in the middle of the street over the loss or the death of someone, are we great in those situations? I'm not sure we are.
I think people sometimes are embarrassed to be vulnerable. I was embarrassed. And then I realised after losing Mom, it's almost like if someone tells you a joke, you laugh. And I found very quickly, if I was going to be upset, I was going to be upset. But I think it makes people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
People don't know what to say. What do you say to someone who's going through, for me, at the moment, the greatest loss of my life?
Yeah.
What do people say? But sometimes it's not what you say, it's what you do, and just support that person and be around them. But it's still an element of awkwardness.
Yeah. How do I cope with this?
Embarrassment, or like I still talk about my mom. And sometimes that may make people feel uncomfortable, but that's what works for me.
Oh, I think that's great.
You know, so it's kind of tricky for everyone.
And it's what works for the individual, exactly.
Totally.
Who's grieving. You're obviously very comfortable in the podcast platform, and as a result, in the success of your first one, you've decided to do another one, a completely different type, one to bring cheer, and Lord knows we need it this year.
Arthur and I I was watching The Crown. We were in bed, and he was on one iPad, I was on the other, and I said, I'm going to do a Christmas podcast, and I'm going to call it Brian's Big Camp Christmas Chats. And he was like, yeah, whatever. I just thought 2020 is the year where we need to bring Christmas cheer like never before. And I think being on Death Becomes Them, I think I'm a bit jaded by telly. I think I'm a bit jaded. And I think by doing the podcast, it actually allows me to be me 100%.
Are you a Christmas fan? Traditionally,
I'm
would you love it?
obsessed with Christmas. Like, I buy all my presents and normally have them wrapped come October.
Literally,
I'm so annoying. Even Pippa says to me, she's like, you need to calm down. I'm obsessed with Christmas. Like, I'm planning Christmas in June or July. I've never missed a Christmas from home, ever.
Okay,
and I've lived in so many different places. Yes, and my husband is Armenian, and I'm like, nah, Christmas is in Ireland. And we've missed Christmases together because I've chose to stay in Ireland. Yeah, I'm obsessed. I think Christmas is a year where you can just have fun and embrace the festivity and wear a Christmas jumper and eat what you want and drink what you want with no judgment.
Yeah. Very true. So who can we expect on the Big Camp Christmas Chats?
Amy Huberman was episode 1. Tommy Bowe was yesterday. Today is Kimberly Walsh from Girls Aloud.
Lovely.
Tomorrow is Claudine Keane, Donal Skean. We have Doireann Garahy, and we close it with Pippa O'Connor.
Brilliant.
On Wednesday. It's a great lineup.
So you're launching one each day?
Every day.
That's brilliant.
7 days in a row, which is full on. Thank goodness for Arthur. I just recorded, have a few drinks. He does all the technicality thing.
He does the real work. Let's be
team.
honest. We're going to get a shot of Arthur here because he deserves another shot. He's the guy who does the real work.
He does everything. I'm just like the puppet. I'm just the one in front with the nice jumper. He does everything.
You're front of house.
Yes. It's like being back at Ryanair. I just do this.
You've got good training.
He flies the plane.
How many years are you married now?
We are married 5.5 years this year.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have said 1 or 2.
Yeah, 5.5.
And has it flown? And has the relationship changed?
Yes, I think you feel very comfortable and you almost know, like, you know it's the right person. I always say Arthur makes me want to be a better person.
Oh.
Because I'm a little tricky on a day-to-day basis, but he's quite good at telling me, shut up and sit down and take a breath.
Okay.
Yeah, you can rein it in because he lets you know.
Yeah, exactly.
He's quite chilled. Anytime I've met him, he's just very relaxed.
It's the accent, Laura, don't be fooled.
Oh, I love it.
It's a good partnership though, isn't it?
I think so.
Yes.
It's working.
I'm still wearing the rings.
We can see them from here.
Yeah, they are a little showy and blingy, I know, but I'm into that.
Why not? What are your plans for next week for Christmas Day?
We're at home with my family, thankfully.
Oh, lovely.
So it's myself, Arthur, our dad, and then my sister Tara, Harvey, my nephew I'm obsessed with, and Tara's fiance John. So we're together, which is, I couldn't imagine not being with my family at Christmas.
Yeah.
So
well, look, we wish you a happy Christmas.
Thank you. You too. Happy
and
Christmas.
Continued success to you and to Arthur and to all the family.
Thanks,
Thank
Brian.
you.
Always
Thank
a pleasure chatting to you. Thanks,
you. Girls.
And don't forget that you can listen to Brian's Big Camp Christmas Chats now only on Spotify.
Up next, pop culture phenomenon Michael Flatley will be joining us for a chat. See you soon.
Is he here?